Whitney, written by Jess Jimenez. Interior, Whitney's bedroom evening. The walls are painted lilac with constellations on the ceiling. Cardboard boxes and suitcases clutter the room, spilling with clothes and space-themed decorative items. Photos of Whitney are scattered around the room. Whitney, 10, standing in a gym in front of a model solar system with a second place ribbon. Whitney, 6, standing behind a rocket ship cake with an uneasy smile. Whitney, 3, wearing an astronaut helmet that's too big. Whitney, 14, red-haired, insecure, average looks, is sitting on the floor of her bedroom with a package in front of her, addressed to Whitney Roy, Houston, Texas, from Sage Roy, Neptune, Florida. Whitney opens a package in front of her. Inside the box is lined with yellow construction paper. On the opening flap, it reads, Welcome to the Sunshine State," in huge lettering. Whitney removes the top layer of tissue paper to find an orange squishy with age. Whitney has a disgusted, amused face and places the orange next to her. Whitney pulls out neon green sunglasses. She immediately wears them, smiling. Whitney takes out a Mickey Mouse keychain, sunscreen, an orange bird mini plushie, and a mason jar of sand and seashells. Raising the sunglasses to her hand, Whitney takes out a revealing bikini top from the box. Whitney examines it, embarrassed.
Jesus, Sage.
Whitney takes out the matching high-cut bikini bottom. She bites her lip in consideration. Whitney gets up with the swimsuit and walks in front of her mirror. She places the bikini top strap over her head and holds the bottom against her hips. Flash. An older Whitney, 24, in the white bikini looks back at Whitney. She's tall, slim, hair to her waist. Her chest and hips are pronounced. She's alluring. She winks at Whitney. Knock on the door. Return to scene. The door opens. A sandy teacup poodle runs to Whitney, yapping. Whitney drops the bikini bottom down and bends to pick up Sunshine.
Hi, my sunshine.
Peter, 56, stands at the doorway.
Hey, Whit. What are you up to?
Whitney sets Sunshine down and yanks the bikini top off.
Nothing. I was just looking through the care package Sage sent.
Whitney nods the box on the floor. Yeah.
And she sent you that bathing suit? It seems a bit mature for you.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to take it with me. Not really my style, I don't think.
Well, would you mind joining us downstairs? We're going to work on a project before we settle down for dinner. We have to get that early start tomorrow.
What project?
It's a surprise.
A surprise for who? Me?
You're not scared of a surprise, are you?
Whitney shakes her head and narrows her eyes. She raises her chin at the challenge. She cracks a smile. Whitney laughs.
What are we ordering for dinner?
What makes you think we're not having a home-cooked meal?
No one in this house knows how to cook, Dad.
I think I remember that we've cooked a meal before.
Maybe on a random Thanksgiving or Christmas, but it's June.
If you can have Christmas in July, logically, you can have Thanksgiving in June.
You're right. That's mathematics.
That's the spirit. Now let's get a move on. Quality family time is meant to be happening.
Peter exits. Whitney laughs and follows behind him, closing the door behind her. A sign made out of construction paper reads, Commander Whitney's private quarters. Interior kitchen continuous. Peter and Whitney walk into a spacious and clean to the point of never being used kitchen. Standing at the counter, Joan, 55, is chopping potatoes. Whitney opens and closes her mouth in shock.
Ah, here's the crew.
Pinch me, I'm dreaming.
Surprise.
Surprise!
We're making dinner tonight.
Whitney looks around the kitchen, sees the pots and pans. A recipe for steak is printed and taped over the stove.
I borrowed the pots and pans from Lydia next door, and Millie down the street is letting us use a couple of her spices. Peter, you'll remember to return these, right?
Peter nods, waves it off.
What? Why are we doing all this?
You remember those family memories I was telling you about 20 seconds ago?
Whitney nods. She smiles in excitement.
Whitney, you've got an iPad with instructions up. You're on the asparagus. I trust that you won't get the screen greasy. Peter and I taped up the steak recipe above the stove, so if we do this right, we could be having one of those nuclear family dinners in about 30 minutes.
Whitney and Peter get in their positions. They get to work. Series of quick cuts. Whitney places the tray of asparagus in the oven. Joan puts a lid over the mashed potatoes. Peter finishes seasoning the steak. He places each cut on the pan. Series of quick cuts. Moments later, the steak is burned in the pan. The mashed potatoes are liquid. The asparagus is stuck to the tray. Man. Interior dining room later. A traditional dark wood dining room. The dining table is covered in takeout boxes. Peter, Joan, Whitney sit around the table eating barbecue. Sunshine starts barking. Whitney picks up Sunshine from the floor and places her on the table.
Don't put the dog on the table. We're eating.
I just want her to feel included.
Whitney wipes sauce off a piece of meat, feeds it to Sunshine. Sunshine eats hungrily.
I can't imagine that we've neglected to give you something to eat.
Sunshine runs towards Joan, right in her food. Joan and Whitney laugh.
And that's why I didn't want the dog on the table.
Joan picks Sunshine off her plate.
I think she knows you're leaving. She's a smart girl. She's going to miss you, Mom.
Whitney gets up to take Sunshine. Joan gives Whitney a sad smile. Joan holds Whitney's hand for a beat. Whitney returns Joan's smile and dabs a napkin in her water glass. Whitney wipes Sunshine with the napkin.
It's going to be a long year.
Cell phone alarm ringing. Interior, Whitney's room, morning. Whitney's hand quickly turns off her alarm, gets out of bed. Sunshine sleepily raises her head. Whitney walks out of her room. Whitney's bathroom, continuous. Whitney looks at the mirror. Flash. She's a gross preteen. Pimples cover her face. She's bloodshot eyes. Her skin is greasy. Her hair is limp and greasy. Whitney starts brushing her teeth. They're yellow. She combs her hair with her fingers. Toothpaste splashes water on her face. Whitney studies herself in the mirror, touching her face. Getting closer to the mirror, Whitney picks at the pimples in her face until she bumps her head in the mirror.
Ow.
Return to bathroom. Rubbing her forehead, looking back at the mirror, Whitney appears normal again, confused.
Whitney, are you ready? Time to go.
Whitney turns around, shaken.
Give me a second. I just need to get dressed.
Whitney runs out of the bathroom. Exterior, Peter's car moments later. Joan is putting her suitcase in the trunk of the car. Whitney walks over.
Where's Dad?
Huh.
Peter walks out of the house, locks up. Peter holds a passport book up.
Don't leave without me. Joan, I have your passport.
Dad, she's going to space, not Mexico.
Can't be too prepared. There might be extraterrestrial life that needs her to prove her citizenship.
Joan shakes her head and takes the passport from Peter. She squeezes his arm.
Sorry. You're a good man, Peter. Get in, honey.
Joan gets in the passenger side of the car. Whitney gets in the back. Peter takes the wheel. Interior, Peter's car. Moments later, a podcast is playing softly. Whitney is looking out the window.
Have you heard from Sage?
No, not yet. Knowing her, she'll call sooner or later. Be sure to give her all my love, just in case.
So much love thrown on her, she won't know where to store it all.
Till you find out she has a belly button ring.
She has a belly button ring?
She could. Not that it matters much. She's 24.
Whitney, does Sage have a piercing?
I don't think so. I'm surprised you're not more concerned with her tattoo, though.
What tattoo?
The one across her chest that says, Ride the Breeze.
Oh yeah, I think she made that her LinkedIn photo.
Whitney and Joan laugh.
So at least those ballet classes will come in handy when she takes up that stripper job, huh?
So you have been keeping up with her LinkedIn.
Peter shakes his head. Joan and Whitney start laughing again. Exterior, Johnson Space Center parking lot later. The car is parked. Peter and Joan are getting Joan's bag out of the car. Whitney leans against the car, looks longingly at Joan. Joan takes out the last bag.
Okay, and that'll be all of it.
Peter and Joan embrace.
I'll be sure to call you before I go off. Come here, Space Cadet.
Whitney goes over to Joan. It's an awkward hug.
Don't be that way.
I'm not being anyway.
Really? You're unusually not this passive aggressive. You're usually not this passive aggressive with me.
I'm just going to miss you. I'm really happy for you, and I'm excited to live with Sage and everything. But you're my...
Whitney buries her face in Joan's chest. Joan smooths Whitney's hair.
I know, baby. I'm going to borrow Whitney for a sec.
Peter gives an understanding nod. Interior, Johnson Space Center continuous. Joan and Whitney walk down the hallway.
Mom, where are we going?
Joan and Whitney stop in front of a framed picture and a plaque. In the picture are six astronauts, 5 men and 1 woman. The plaque reads, "In remembrance of Jack T. Cornell, Adam Michaels, Mason Q. Lovo, Brian Warner, Ronald R. Douglas, and Whitney Williams, SS Diplomat, November 11, 2004.
That's really sad, Mom, but that's not going to happen to you.
No, NASA is very prepared, and this happened over 10 years ago, but it was supposed to.
Mom.
Just let me say it. Let's do the whole touchy-feely thing now, so that way I can kiss your face and you won't be hostile about it.
I wasn't being hostile.
In any case, it was 2 months before the mission when I found out I was pregnant with you and I had to drop out. At the time, I was so upset and maybe a little resentful. It was supposed to be my first time in space, and they just gave my spot to her. I didn't realize that you saved my life. That was supposed to be me.
Okay.
What?
Later, Whitney unclicks her seatbelt.
I'll bring you some more boxes in a minute. Try to finish packing today, okay?
Sure thing.
Interior, Whitney's bedroom continuous. Whitney looks around. Sunshine runs up to Whitney and greeting. Whitney purses her lips, thinking. Whitney goes to a box filled with shoes and dumps them on the floor. She kicks aside all clunky, unattractive shoes. She picks up a pair of sneakers, flip-flops, and kitten heels. She dumps the shoes into the box. Whitney goes to a suitcase. She picks up a shirt on top. It's a white t-shirt with Space Camp 2014 written on it. It gets dumped on the floor. Whitney keeps going through the suitcases. Anything that appears babyish gets dumped to the floor. Few suitable clothing remains in the suitcase. Whitney goes to the floor by her mirror and picks up the bikini from before, tosses it from the case. Interior, airplane, morning. Whitney is sitting in the window seat looking out the window. She's wearing the sunglasses Sage sent her. Whitney looks over to Peter. Peter sits next to Whitney, writing in a notebook. He's very involved in it. Whitney takes off her sunglasses.
I feel bad that Sunshine's in the cargo while we're up here.
What was that?
Just thinking about Sunshine.
Okay, baby.
Whitney rolls her eyes and puts on her sunglasses. She faces the window once more. Exterior, Florida airport, later, midday. Peter walks out of the sidewalk carrying a trolley of luggage. Whitney follows from behind, carrying Sunshine. Down the street, leaning against a white bug convertible, is Sage, 24, chill, Visco type girl. Sage opens her arms. Whitney runs over to Sage, hugging her.
Hey, sis.
I've missed you. I can't believe I'm here. Christ, it's so humid, though.
Peter comes over.
Sage, it's good to see you.
Peter hugs Sage, kisses her forehead.
Hi, Dad. What do you think of the car? So far, the only appropriate adjective to describe her has been bitchin', but I'm sure you can come up with something more clever.
Sage winks. Peter rolls his eyes and shakes his head. Sage laughs. Interior, Sage's car moments later. The roof is up. Sage is driving. Peter is in the passenger seat, and Whitney sits in the back with Sunshine. Loud music is playing on the radio. Peter goes to turn it down.
Dad, can you not mess with my car?
Can we try to catch up instead of you drowning out the world?
I'm not drowning anything out. Think of it as more like I'm giving the world a soundtrack.
It's too loud, Sage. Don't make me play the old man card.
Sage laughs. She turns down the music by only a fraction. Interior, Sage's house, later. Sage, Peter, and Whitney enter into a living room. Slightly messy, bold colors, whimsical overall. Sage opens her arms.
And this is my home. She's my full-time lover.
It's very bright. I feel like you should keep a bowl of Advil by the door when people come in here just to prevent the headache.
I think it's cool.
It's definitely a vibe.
Whitney walks over to an orange couch.
I love this couch.
I saw it and was like, that's the sunset or sunrise, depending on your persuasion.
I love sunrises.
I'll have to change that. We're night owls here.
Peter walks further into the room, surveying.
Sage, I don't want Whitney staying up all hours of the night. You're supposed to be responsible now.
Peter stops by a surfboard in the corner with a crumpled towel on the floor.
How long has this been here?
Who can say?
Dad, leave it. It's Sage's house, and I swear I can hang.
She swears she can hang. Besides, not going to bed at 9 p.m. won't kill her.
Whitney nods along eagerly. Interior, Sage's living room, night. Peter and Whitney enter from the front door. Sage is sitting on the couch in pajamas. There's candy, chips, and popcorn in bowls on the coffee table.
What's all this?
I was thinking Whitney and I could have a little girls' night, a little sister bonding. No dudes allowed, though.
I think I'm perfectly okay with that. What do you think, Whitney?
That sounds great.
Great. Are you feeling more juice or tea?
Oh, I'll just have what you're having.
And that sounds like my cue to leave. Have a good night, girls.
Peter exits into the hallway. Sage gets up.
I'll go put on the kettle. Why don't you pick out a movie?
Sage exits. Whitney sits on the couch, picks up the remote, and starts clicking.
Okay. Are you feeling more Mean Girls or Clueless?
Chick flicks. Good idea. Love how your mind works. But can we do something a little more intense? I want to feel like I'm putting my anxiety medication to work.
Whitney laughs.
How about Goodnight Mommy? It's a scary movie. I think it might be in German, though.
I don't speak German, but I can if you like.
Wow.
Sorry.
Sage's living room, later. Half the food is eaten. The kettle is on the table with 2 teacups. Sage is laying on the couch on her phone. Whitney sits next to Sage with Sage's leg in her lap, captivated by the gore of the film, leaning close to the television. Interior, Sage's kitchen, morning. Whitney sits at the table, writing a list. Insert the list. In pink Sharpie, Sage and Whitney's hot, cool, fun summer. 1. Kennedy Space Center. 2. Disney World. 3. Go on a boat. 4. Miami? Sage, you said we could. 5. Make fresh orange juice. Back to kitchen. Peter enters and walks to the fridge.
Hi, Dad.
Hey, kiddo, what are you doing?
I'm making a list of things Sage and I can do together.
Yeah, and is there anything interesting on there?
Number 1 is going to the Space Center.
Peter opens the fridge. Disappointed, he closes it.
A head of cauliflower and an avocado. Not really much food at all.
Whitney gives Peter a sad smile. Peter walks to the coffee machine. Sage enters. Sage walks to the fridge and pulls out an avocado.
Hey, Sage, what's the big idea on not keeping food in the house?
What do you mean? I just took out this avocado.
Sage looks down at her avocado, can't decide if it's real or not.
What I mean is, will that feed you and Whitney?
Well, not really. I guess not.
I'm not hungry.
Part of the deal was that you'd keep her alive. I don't want to come back here and be Whitney short because she died of hunger.
I'm not going to die.
Dad, I wasn't planning on starving her.
Sage gives Whitney the avocado.
Here, you can have this for breakfast.
Oh, Whitney slides the avocado away.
I'm still not hungry.
Peter takes out his wallet and pulls out some cash. He lays it on the counter.
I want you to get familiar with the grocery store soon, and I want to see you both be ready in 30 minutes. It's not every day your mother goes to space.
Peter walks out.
You can't keep bossing me around. This is my house. I'm not a child.
Sage rolls her eyes. Awkward beat.
So, I made this list of things we could do.
I have to get dressed.
Sage exits. Whitney looks down at Sunshine.
If I started a sentence, would you hear me all the way through?
Sunshine barks. Interior, Sage's car later. Sage drives. Peter is in the passenger seat. Whitney sits in the back. The car is silent. Exterior, Kennedy Space Center launch site later. Peter, Whitney, and Sage sit on the bleachers watching a rocket launch. Peter has his hand covering his eyes from the sun as he looks up at the rocket. Whitney has her sunglasses on her lap as she looks with silent tears down her face. Sage leans back against the bleacher seat behind her, wearing her sunglasses as she looks up. Whitney still looking up at the rocket.
That was me mouthing it.
Exterior Florida airport later. Sage leans against her car, arms crossed, sunglasses on. Whitney helps Peter take suitcases out of the trunk and onto a trolley. With the last suitcase on the trolley, Peter brings Whitney in for a big hug.
I'll miss you, Dad.
I'll miss you too, Whit. Make sure to study hard, brush your teeth, eat your veggies. Oh, and keep your sister in line. If anyone can, it's you. Mwah! You're a good girl.
Peter let's go of Whitney and turns to Sage. She's basically a statue. Peter gives Sage a hug, no reaction. Peter kisses the side of Sage's head, no reaction.
Don't tell me you're still upset. I'll miss you, Sage. Always have, always will.
Sage turns her head in Peter's direction, no reaction.
Look after Whitney and yourself. You're all each other have right now, okay?
Sage gives a one-shoulder shrug.
Enjoy Switzerland.
Peter gives Whitney an exacerbated look. Whitney gives Peter an encouraging smile and a thumbs up. Peter goes to the trolley.
Be good girls, I love you.
Love you.
Peter turns and starts pushing his trolley away. Interior, Sage's living room later. Sage and Whitney enter with Whitney following Sage meekly. Sage drops her keys on the coffee table.
Hey, Sage, do you want to go grocery shopping?
Can we go tomorrow? I'm tired and I have work in the morning.
Oh, well, yeah, tomorrow.
Sage gives Whitney a kind smile.
Thanks, sis. Look, meet me after work tomorrow and we'll go from there.
Exterior, beach day. Whitney walks in the sand barefoot, carrying her flip-flops in one hand and Sunshine's leash in the other.
Do you want to go in the water?
Sunshine looks up at Whitney, barks.
I hope that's a yes, because otherwise you have no choice.
Whitney bends down and picks up Sunshine. Whitney walks towards the water. Whitney gets her ankle deep in the water, begins to put Sunshine in the water. Sunshine barks up a storm and kicks her paws away.
All right. You're not going to doggy paddle this morning. I wasn't going to either.
Whitney walks away from the water.
At least I'll never have to fear about you escaping and drowning in the ocean.
At a safe distance away, Whitney settles down Sunshine. Bending down, Whitney picks up a small seashell. Whitney's POV. Whitney holds up the seashell, moving it around, seeing the shell catch the light.
Isn't this the prettiest thing you've ever seen?
Whitney sets down the shell gently, looking up. Hector, 24, lifeguard, swimmer's body, is walking down the beach patrolling. Hector is walking in Whitney's direction. Whitney gets flustered. Whitney looks around her. No one is paying attention to this perfect specimen of a man, what he's doing to her. Another angle, the beach. A kid is eating an ice cream cone. A woman is applying sunscreen. Kids are building sandcastles. Whitney looks back to Hector. He's close. Water is dripping down his muscles. He pushes his wet hair back so Whitney sees his perfect bone structure. Whitney opens and closes her mouth. Hector looks down at her, nods. He's gone. Whitney watches him walk away. Exterior, sunshine smoothies. Later, a bright orange and kitschy smoothie shack stands just off the beach. Sage is leaning against the counter, sipping a smoothie. Whitney walks over to the counter with Sunshine.
Hey, girly.
Hey.
You want a smoothie? Juice?
Whitney nods. Sage turns her head. Anna, 30s, is reading a book behind her.
Anna, this is my little sister. She came to live with me. Isn't that so cute?
Anna gives Whitney a polite smile and waves. Whitney waves back, embarrassed.
Would you mind making her a classic Sunshine? I do it myself, but since you're still training, I think you could use a bit more practice with everything, you know?
Anna nods and begins making the smoothie.
So how was the beach? Had fun?
Oh, saw the sand, saw the water, felt the sun.
As one does when they go to the beach.
Exactly. So, Turns out this little baby is afraid of the water, though.
Anna comes over and places a smoothie in front of Whitney.
Thank you.
Anna nods and goes back to her book. Sage plops a straw in front of Whitney.
Okay, you're gonna love this. It's part pineapple, part mango, part orange, part strawberry, and a hint of lemon. Go on.
Whitney puts a straw in and slips.
Oh, that's really good.
Sage smiles. She looks over Whitney's shoulder and waves.
Hey, Hector.
Whitney turns around. Hector waves at Sage. He walks over.
Hey, Sage, how's it going?
Sage leans over the counter and hugs Hector.
Thanks for asking. Anna all day. So I've been on a pretty good power trip this morning. Kind of wearing off, so now I'm just hanging out.
Nice, I love hanging out. Oh, sorry, were you ordering?
Whitney opens and closes her mouth again, unable to speak. Whitney points at her smoothie like, nope, all good. Whitney starts sipping her smoothie, embarrassed. Sage laughs.
This is my baby sister, Whitney. Although I can't believe you didn't notice the family resemblance. Isn't she just as cute as me?
Whitney chokes on her smoothie. Smoothie's running down her front.
Fuck, are you okay?
Sage hands Whitney some napkins. Whitney dabs at herself cleaning up.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just a dummy. It's my first day drinking liquids ever, apparently.
Right. Well, I wish you all luck on this new jersey. I'm sure you'll get the hang of it soon.
As long as you keep me in your thoughts and prayers.
Hector laughs. Whitney smiles.
So, Heck, you're still doing the whole lifeguard gig at the beach.
Uh-huh. I'm actually going to be doing some swimming instructor stuff soon, though. I really want to take advantage of all the tourists and make some extra cash.
Respect. Whitney was just telling me about her day at the beach. I haven't been in a minute, really. Really feeling like I'll need to take some time and hang out there soon.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, you convinced me. We'll be seeing you around then.
Cool. It was nice to meet you.
Whitney nods. Hector walks away.
Don't you just love him?
Interior grocery store later. Sage is pushing a shopping cart in the produce section as Whitney follows behind her.
So what do you eat anyways? Like ring pops and Fruity Pebbles?
Gross. I don't know. I like food.
Is there like a specific cuisine that I should become a master chef in?
I'd love it if you became a Mexican food master chef. Back home, there was this great taco spot that Mom would take me after school.
Sage holds up a bag of Brussels sprouts.
Do you like Brussels sprouts?
I could, if you season them.
I think I'm in the mood for some sprouts.
Yeah, that'll be good. I also really like ramen. I like most Asian fusion food, really, but ramen with pork belly?
Whitney, I'm vegan. I'm not going to buy animal products and support the murder industry.
So I have to be vegan too?
Sage continues pushing the cart around the section.
Pretty much. Soon your favorite food is going to be avocado toast, and you'll thank me for it.
Interior Sage's kitchen later. Sage is at the stove on her Sage is at the stove on her phone as Whitney unpacks grocery bags.
All right, I think I found a pretty good taco recipe that uses Brussels sprouts.
Hooray.
Hush, at least wait until you try it.
Fine. What do you need?
Moments later, Sage and Whitney sit at the kitchen table with vegan tacos in front of them. The food looks good. Sage and Whitney each take bites of their food. Disgust.
You can say it.
Whitney spits out the food from her mouth. Interior Sage's living room morning. Sage sits on the couch watching TV. Whitney enters, rubbing her eyes.
Good morning.
Morning, sleepy duck.
Whitney sits down next to Sage.
Why are you up so early? You don't work again, do you?
Nah, I got called out. Do you want to go to the beach?
Yes.
Whitney gets up.
Just give me a sec and I'll get ready.
Whitney runs out the room.
I mean, I'm not leaving for a while.
Interior Whitney's room continuous. Whitney slams the door behind her. Sunshine lazily raises her head from her dog bed. This room is bare except for a bed, mirror, and a dresser. Whitney's suitcase sits in the corner of the room, still packed with dirty clothes surrounding them. Whitney has excited energy as she opens the suitcase and digs through it. Whitney pulls out a pink bathing suit with palm trees.
Ugh, why am I like this?
Whitney throws out the suitcase. Whitney throws the suitcase aside, continuous digging. Whitney takes out a solid blue one-piece bathing suit. Exterior, beach later. Sage and Whitney Walk in the sand, carrying towels and water bottles. Sage looks around. She stops.
Oh yeah, this is a prime spot.
Sage sits her towel down. Whitney puts hers next to Sage's. Sage takes off her oversized shirt, revealing a white bikini identical to Whitney's. Whitney takes off her tank top and shorts, revealing her one piece.
Race you to the ocean.
Sage is running to the water. Whitney runs after her. Whitney leads Sage to the water. Whitney reaches the water first.
Ha! I win.
Whitney splashes Sage playfully.
What do I win?
Truthfully, I didn't expect that you would win. When did you get so fast?
Sage splashes Whitney's back.
There's a lot that you don't know about me. Can I get an ice pop?
Sure, but I'm racing you back.
Sage is running back to the shore. Whitney runs after her, laughing. Exterior, ice freeze, continuous, a chrome shack. Sage grabs a blue ice pop from the cashier.
Thanks.
Sage hands the ice pop to Whitney. Sage and Whitney turn to walk back to the two towels. A remote control car whizzes in front of their path. Another car follows. Sage saves Whitney from tripping on the car.
Sorry. Oh, hey, Sage.
Hector and Lonnie, 24, run over carrying remote controls.
Hey Heck, hey Lonnie. Having fun?
Oh yeah, about to beat this dude in a race. Best day of my life.
Lonnie looks Sage up and down in her bikini, smiles appreciatively.
Yeah, best day of my life. Thanks, Sage.
Lonnie starts racing his car again and runs to follow it. Sage glares after Lonnie.
Pig.
Hector starts his car up and runs off.
Can't talk. See you, Sage.
Wow, men really ain't shit.
Sage walks back to the towel. Whitney looks after Sage. Whitney catches a boy, 13, looking after Sage at her butt. He smiles appreciatively. Whitney catches her reflection in the chrome walls of the ice freeze. She looks like she's standing in front of a funhouse mirror. Her legs are freakishly long. Her head and butt look huge in the non-attractive sense. Whitney frowns and stretches out the back of her bathing suit to cover her butt more and follows after Sage. Exterior, beach, moments later. Sage and Whitney lie on their towels. They each have on their sunglasses. Sage turns to Whitney.
When does school start for you again?
August 20-something, I think. Why?
Nothing. That just means you have about 2 months of summer.
Yeah.
Didn't you say you had a list of things you wanted to do?
Momentary hiccup, guys.
Sorry about that. My computer turned off for no reason. That was weird. Okay. So we were at beats. Hello? Am I heard?
Where are we starting?
I think it was at Whitney, right? That I'd really like to go. No?
Okay, yeah, I could start. I'd really like to go to the Space Center again. I want to actually see the place and maybe if there's another launch.
Ugh, don't tell me your entire life revolves around space too.
What makes you think that it does?
There's nothing interesting up there.
I disagree.
So Mom managed to brainwash you into following in her footsteps, huh?
I like space.
Yep, you're brainwashed, kid.
Mom and I just like the same things.
Interior, Sage's living room. Day. When he sits on the couch watching TV. On TV is a doctor reality show. Insert the TV screen. A doctor, 40, is having a consultation with a patient, 20s.
So tell me, what brings you in today?
Well, as you can see, I have a pretty prominent nose.
The patient traces the profile of her nose with their finger. Another angle, living room. Whitney watches the screen transfixed. She traces her nose profile along with the patient. Whitney watches the screen transfixed.
Fell when you were a kid?
Genetics.
So what I can do for you is a simple rhinoplasty procedure, a nose job.
Exterior out of this world books day. Whitney pulls up in front of the bookstore on her bike. Whitney ties her bike to the bike rack. Whitney enters the bookstore. Interior out of this world bookstores out of this world books continuous. The bookstore is small with four walls covered by shelves of the books. The center of the floor has tables of books. Two patrons mill about different tables. A shopkeeper, 60s, stocks books on the shelves. Whitney walks over to the nearest table. The table holds autobiographies on the world leaders, celebrities, activists, and artists. A sign on the table reads, "Interesting Lives." Whitney picks up a book from the back corner of the table. Whitney flips open to a page with a barely dressed woman posing in front of carnival prizes.
Whoa.
The woman is all extreme curves and big blonde hair. The page next to the photo reads, "Amanda's Beauty Tips." Another angle, Whitney's face. Whitney's lips move along the words she's reading, extremely interested. Another angle, out of this world books. Whitney shuts the book, looks around, no one is noticing her. Whitney pulls the book close to her chest. Whitney beelines for the register, stops. Whitney grabs a coloring book off the table.
Excuse me?
Oh, you're waiting for me? So sorry, dear.
A shopkeeper makes their way to the register. Whitney places her books on the counter, tries to cover the Amanda Lepore book with the coloring book. The shopkeeper scans the coloring book, places it to the side. Their eyes scan the Lepore book cover. Whitney notices, blushes.
It does actually look interesting. I guess that sign was right.
Interior, Sage's kitchen, morning. Sage stands at the sink, drinking water. Whitney enters.
What are you doing?
Drinking water?
You're drinking Florida water willingly?
Huh, I guess I am. You get used to it, I guess.
You're braver than I'll ever be.
Sage chuckles and sets her glass down.
I'm going to head off to work.
Sage walks to the door.
I'll see you later.
Wait,
Whitney extends her arms out, blocking Sage's path.
when are you coming home?
Maybe 7?
Is it fun being an adult?
I have fun with it.
Should I get a job so I can have something to do?
Don't think you have to be an adult to have something to do. Why don't you go off to the community center? I think it's off Main Street. Meet some kids, make some friends. I feel like you would love having a job, but I'd rather you play in the mud.
Kids don't play in mud, and I'm not a kid.
Go to the community center and play in virtual reality mud.
Sage pats Whitney's cheek.
I'll see you later.
Sage passes Whitney and exits. Exterior, streets later. Whitney is riding a bike down the street. She passes by houses, makes a turn, more houses, another turn, more houses, another turn, Main Street. Shops and restaurants on either side, another turn, more shops, keeps pedaling. Whitney stops in front of a large building. A sign on top reads, Neptune Community Center. Exterior, Community Center, continuous. Whitney ties her bike to a bike rack in front of the community center. Whitney walks to the bulletin board next to the front door. Can't read. Flyers for adopting cats, babysitter needed, guitar lessons, and the sort are plastered all over. On top of a flyer for swimming lessons with Photoshop waves, swimmers, and Hector's face.
Pretty dope poster, right?
Whitney startles, turns around. Hector stands behind Whitney, looking at the board.
My buddy photoshopped it for me.
I love it.
Beat, Hector blinks.
I'll be sure to let him know.
Is it just you teaching the classes, or do you...
Nope, just me. I think I can handle a bunch of kids.
Are you only teaching kids? I was thinking about signing up.
You don't know how to swim?
I was more interested in things above sea level to really bother with it.
Oh, well, I guess you could come by too, if you really want to. I'm warning you though, when I say kids, I mean like, okay, so I have 1 kid signed up, that's 8 right now.
Oh.
But if you really want to swim, I'm not going to turn you down. I think everyone should be able to swim.
You really like the water?
It's Florida.
Hector's phone chimes. Hector looks at his phone.
I gotta get going, but I'll see you on Saturday.
Whitney smiles and nods enthusiastically. Hector waves and walks off. Whitney turns to the board and rips off the swim lessons flyer and stuffs it into her pocket. Interior Sage's living room later. Whitney sits on the floor watching television. The Amanda Lepore book is open on her lap. In her lap. The same reality show from earlier. The doctor's inserting a syringe into a woman's top lip. New syringe. The doctor inserts the syringe into the woman's bottom lip. Whitney sits watching, fascinated. The sound of the front door closing is heard. Whitney quickly shuts the book and stuffs it under the couch. Sage enters the living room, almost passes by Whitney into the kitchen.
Hey, Sage.
Oh, hey, Whitney. Have you eaten dinner yet?
Whitney shakes her head. Sage lets out a sigh.
Sorry. Let's order out tonight. Your choice.
Sage walks to the kitchen. Whitney smiles, gets up, and follows behind Sage. Sage's kitchen continuous. Sage opens a drawer full of takeout menus. Sage grabs a stack and plops them on the table. Sage takes a seat, and Whitney sits next to her.
I'm surprised you have so many.
I know, I should just recycle them, but they tend to be useful for parties.
Whitney hums, looks through the menus.
I think I want Chinese. Chinese food is mainly vegan, right?
Traditionally, yeah. What are you gonna get?
Sage takes out her cell phone.
You can get me whatever.
Sage raises an eyebrow, sets down her phone.
How was the community center?
It was good. Neptune sure is a community.
Found any activities to do?
Actually, I did. I want to take a swimming class.
But you know how to swim. Dad had me take lessons when I was 7, and I know you took them when I was in high school.
Yeah, but I feel like I should brush up. I don't think I'm that strong of a swimmer, and if I'm going to be living here, I should be a really good swimmer. It's Florida.
Whitney takes Hector's flyer from her pocket, hands it over to Sage.
I saw this flyer on the bulletin board at the community center.
Sage looks at the flyer.
Oh, this is my friend Hector's class. You met Hector, right?
Whitney feigns confusion.
Did I?
Yeah, when you visited me at work the other day and at the beach.
Oh, that's this Hector? Wow, that's crazy.
Whitney shrugs. Sage points out to Hector's face.
That's his face.
Whitney shrugs.
I don't know. I guess his face isn't that memorable.
Confused, Sage looks back at the flyer.
Really? I've never heard that about him before.
Sage gets up with her phone, the Chinese menu, and Hector's flyer.
Wait,
Sage pauses.
I do need that flyer. There's a number on it that I have to call so I can sign up for classes.
I also have his number.
I know, but I'm an adult and I can sign up for my own classes.
Sage hands Whitney the flyer slowly.
Okay, weirdo.
Sage turns back to her phone.
And Sage?
Sage looks up.
I changed my mind. I want dumplings. I don't care what's in them, but I want to stuff my face with dumplings.
Interior Whitney's room, early morning. Whitney lies in bed, tossing and turning, too excited. Whitney tried closes her eyes tightly. She starts smiling, a huge smile. Whitney turns over once more, looks to the window. The sun is partially up. Interior, Sage's bedroom continuous. Whitney stands beside Sage's bed. Whitney gently shakes Sage awake. Sage sleepily opens her eyes.
What time is it? What day is it?
I don't know, but it's Saturday. I have my swim class today, remember?
Sage groans and turns over. Whitney shakes Sage again.
I need $20 for the registration.
Sage raises one arm to her bag hanging off the doorknob in her room. Whitney quickly closes Sage's bag.
Thanks, Sage.
Do you need a ride?
Whitney is going through Sage's bag.
No thanks, I'll be fine. Where's your wallet? I don't see it.
If you waited until there was sunlight, you'd find it.
Sage.
Sage rolls over and sits up.
Maybe the front pocket.
Sage watches Whitney and she finds her wallet.
You said today was Saturday?
Whitney takes out two $10 bills.
Yep, swim class day. Would I need to tip? Do you tip for stuff like this?
Do you tip your history teacher? Look, I'm hanging out with a friend tonight, but if your class ends before 4:30, I can pick you up if you want.
A friend?
Do you want to ride home, Whitney?
No, I'll be fine. Who are you hanging out with?
I didn't realize you knew all my friends.
Do I have to meet him?
Who says it's a him?
What are you doing?
We're gonna go roller skating.
Whitney nods.
Be sure to wear knee pads.
Be sure to wear floaties.
Whitney rolls her eyes and smiles.
No, you don't have to meet him. I don't think I'll be home until late then. So I'll leave you some extra money and you can order dinner.
Whitney puts Sage's wallet away. Whitney walks to the hallway, turns to close the door.
Thanks, Sage.
Interior is Sage's bathroom morning. Whitney changes into a one-piece bathing suit. Whitney looks down at her legs. Flash. Covering every inch of her skin is thick, coarse, dark hair. The sound of Whitney's heartbeat drowns out everything. Whitney reaches for Sage's razor. Whitney starts shaving away the thick hair. It grows back quickly as she shaves it. Whitney hyperventilates. Her heavy breathing mixes in with her heartbeat for the only sound heard. Whitney tries to yank the hair off her legs. Instead of pulling out, the hair grows longer. Whitney pulls harder.
No, no, no.
Whitney's phone chimes. Whitney turns around and grabs her phone. Whitney's phone reads, "Alarm, Hector swim class." Whitney turns off the alarm. Whitney looks back down on her legs. Sage's bathroom continuous. They're hairless except for a few thin blonde hairs. Whitney sighs, puts the razor back. Interior community center, pool hall later. Whitney stands in the line with 9 other kids ranging from 5 to 11 years old at the edge of the pool. Hector is in the pool facing the kids.
Basically, I want you to dive in just like I showed you.
Orla, 6, raises her hand.
Yes, Orla?
What if I'm scared?
That's why I'm in here. I'm going to catch you guys.
Hector raises his arm.
Whenever you're ready, Manny.
Manny, 11, steps back a few paces and takes a running start to the pool. Manny cannonballs on top of Hector. Manny and Hector both go under. Manny and Hector come up. Hector brings Manny to the pool ledge. Manny holds onto the ledge.
Not what I said to do, but sure, that's one way of getting into the pool. Your turn, Roma.
Each kid dives into the pool with Hector catching them. The kids then wait at the pool ledge until...
Okay, your turn, Whitney.
Whitney looks down at the pool, shivers.
It's okay to be nervous, but I'm catching you. I've caught everyone else, right?
Whitney
Right.
dives. Flash. Whitney is diving off a cliff in a tropical island. Whitney crashes into clear blue water. Hector brings Whitney up. Hector is smiling at Whitney. Whitney smiles back. Whitney rests her head on Hector's chest as he swims away with her.
You can hold on now.
I am.
No, to the ledge.
Whitney looks up. Pool hall continuous. She looks around, dazed, and realizes what happened.
Right. Sorry. Thank you.
Hector swims back to his spot.
All right, your turn, Marco.
Whitney rests her head on the pool ledge. Moments later, the kids are floating on their backs in the middle of the pool with some noodles. Hector weaves through them, helping them float without the noodles. Hector comes up to Whitney. Hector inspects Whitney's floating form.
Looking good, Whitney.
Whitney closes her eyes, content. Flash. Whitney is floating in the crystal blue waters of the tropical island from earlier.
Lean your head back a little. I'm going to remove the noodle.
Whitney furrows her brows. There is no noodle in the paradise. Hector places his hand underneath Whitney. It's suddenly golden hour. Whitney opens her eyes. Hector is looking down at Whitney. It's romantic. They look into each other's eyes. They start to breathe more deeply. Hector's face leans closer to Whitney's.
Yeah, just like that. Keep up the good work.
Hector's hand leaves Whitney's body. Flash. Whitney's drowning. Whitney's in the bottom of the ocean. Everything is dark. Whitney's losing air. As hard as Whitney swims, she cannot break the surface. Blackout. Interior, community center, hallway. Later. Whitney's in a t-shirt and shorts. Her hair is wet and loose, dampening her t-shirt. Whitney sits on the bench between the girls' changing room and the boys' changing room, anxiously waiting. Marco exits the boys' changing room. The door clangs shut behind him. Whitney anxiously looks at the door, fidgets in her seat. Whitney gets up. Whitney walks to the door of the boys' changing room. Whitney timidly knocks, no answer. Whitney shakes her head. How stupid. Whitney pushes open the door. Interior boys' changing room continuous. Shower stalls on the right. Whitney quickly averts her eyes to the left rows of lockers.
Hector,
Whitney walks over to the lockers.
is anyone else in here?
Yeah?
Whitney turns the corner around a locker. Hector, fully dressed, sits on the bench on his phone between a row of lockers.
Is there anyone else besides you and me?
I don't think so. What are you doing in here?
I wanted to apologize for being weird earlier. In the pool, I mean. Although I would like to apologize for every moment that I've known you because I'm sure I was weird those times too.
You don't have to. I'm just happy you're okay now. I thought you were having some kind of stroke. Thought you were going to die. It would suck for my business if on the first day a student died.
I don't think I can die. Every day I feel like I'm dying of embarrassment, and then I wake up the next day.
Sounds like you're an adult now. You just don't pay rent.
I wanted to get a job, but Sage said that wouldn't be a good idea. There'll be work to do when I'm middle-aged and all that. I hope I didn't make you look silly or anything. I really don't know what happened. I just thought, or well, I was thinking, and then I started being weird.
Don't make me say it again, but you're fine, Whitney.
I don't think you said it the first time. I think I'd remember you saying I was fine.
Well, I wanted to spare your feelings, but I don't think you are. Those kids don't think I'm silly. They think the 14-year-old who doesn't know how to swim is silly.
I don't know what to say. Instead of getting a swimming pool in our backyard, we grew a garden.
Community center hallway continuous. Hector and Whitney walk down a hallway side by side.
How come you're still here anyway? You weren't waiting for me, were you?
Oh, no. Sage said she'd pick me up after class. And after 40 minutes, I figured I might as well see it if you were around to apologize.
You haven't heard from her yet?
Whitney takes her phone from her pocket, checks it.
Nope. I should have brought a book or my bike.
Yeah, Sage isn't very good with the whole being on time thing. I think the only reason she still has her job is because the owner of the shack doesn't go there every day.
Hector opens the double doors to the street, open for Whitney and him. Exterior community center continuous. Whitney uses her hand to cover her eyes from the bright sun.
I don't know. People don't really give her enough credit.
Don't think me insensitive, but she forgot to pick up her sister. That's not what many people would call being on the ball.
A 30-minute walk won't kill me.
Hector looks down the street. A man walking a dog, talking on the cell phone, passes by them. Hector watches him walk away from earshot.
I can give you a ride if you want. I've been to Sage's, your house, a couple times, and it's not crazy out of the way.
You don't have to do that.
Well, sorry. I want to. You're probably not used to using the muscles that you use today, and to walk all that way just doesn't feel right. Come on.
Hector nods his head and for Whitney to follow him and turns around. Whitney tries to fight off the smile creeping on her face. Interior Hector's car continuous. Whitney clicks in her seatbelt as Hector settles into the driver's seat. Hector turns on the car and plugs his phone into the car to charge. Radio starts playing "Fuck It, I Love You" by Lana Del Rey. Whitney looks over at Hector.
I would have never guessed you as a Lana fan.
Hector pulls into the street and drives.
She's all right. Every time I plug my phone in, though, this song starts and it plays on loop. In the morning, I hate it. In the afternoon, it's fine. By night, it's stuck in my head and it's my favorite. I have no idea how to change it, and if I switch to the radio, all that plays is static. Can't even get a weather report. Long story short, if I ever get this shit fixed, no one is playing DJ in my car again.
Wow, no one suffers like you.
Hector laughs. Whitney smiles and looks out the window. Another angle, Whitney's POV. The buildings flash by as the car drives until they start slowing down. Red stoplight. Whitney's gaze goes to a billboard of a busty woman in a bikini with a "Come Hither" look. The sign reads, "It's hot in Miami." Whitney's gaze turns to Hector. Hector hands drumming on the steering wheel to the beat. Another angle, Hector's car continuous. Have you ever
been to Miami?
Miami?
Whitney nods her head to the billboard.
Yeah, the city. It's in Florida, you know? The state that we're in. It might be the capital.
Hector looks at the billboard, then looks to Whitney. Hector smirks.
It's not, but yeah, I've heard of it.
It should be. But have you been?
I was born there.
What's it like? Sage says we might go before summer's over.
You should. The views are good. The food is good. The music is good. It's a lot of fun.
The stoplight turns green. Hector continues driving. Interior Sage living room night. Whitney lies on a floor, coloring an interactive pattern in the adult coloring book. Footsteps are heard off screen. Sage stands above Whitney.
Oh, that's so cute.
Whitney shrugs, continues coloring. Sage gets down, lies down next to Whitney.
Can I do the page next to you?
Whitney shrugs and scoots over. Sage takes some color pencils and starts coloring next to Whitney.
How was swim class?
How was your roller skating? You're home pretty early.
It was fun. We're going again tomorrow night. It'll be 80s night or Stranger Things night. I can't remember.
I think they're the same.
Beat.
Do you have a green?
Whitney hands Sage a green colored pencil next to her.
Swim class was fine. Hector drove me home.
Sage stops coloring.
He what? Why would he do that?
I guess he wanted to be nice.
I thought you were fine.
I was fine.
Then how come Hector could drive you home but not me?
Don't make this a thing, Sage. He offered.
Sage gets up from the floor, visibly upset.
I thought you wanted to spend time with me.
Don't tell me you think taking a trip to Miami and having a ride home is the same thing.
Sage huffs and storms out the room. Whitney stares after Sage in shock. Her interior Whitney's room night. Whitney lays in bed, asleep. Sunshine at her feet. Above the covers asleep. Rain is pounding outside the window. A flash of lightning brightens the room. Sunshine wakes. Thunderclap. Sunshine barks. Interior Sage's hallway continuous. Whitney walks down the hallway, rubbing her eyes. Whitney passes the entry to the living room. Sloppy, wet noises and moans are heard. Whitney's neck whips around to look into the living room. Sage's living room continuous. Sage is on the floor, eyes closed and mouth open, with her legs open and bare, and a man in between them. One of Sage's hands is tugging onto the man's hair, the other is touching her bra-covered breast. Sage's hallway continuous. Whitney quickly and quietly crosses to the other end of the hallway. Whitney lets out a breath, looks over her shoulder. Noises are still heard.
Oh my God.
Sage's kitchen continuous. Noises persist. Whitney goes to the sink and takes a glass from the cabinet. Whitney pours herself a glass of water from the sink. Sips. Whitney immediately spits out the water. A loud moan from Sage is heard. Whitney looks over her shoulder, rolls her eyes.
We get it, guys like you. Other people live here too now.
Whitney walks to the radio on the counter and turns it on. Radio plays "Fuck It, I Love You" by Lana Del Rey. When Whitney turns it up loud, Whitney dances around the kitchen, eyes closed, singing along loudly. Bang, bang, thunder sounds turn to flash. Whitney opens eyes to the kitchen back door. Hector is knocking on the glass. Whitney walks to the door, opens it. The music fades to background. Hector is sopping wet, hair plastered to his face. Clothes are a second skin.
Hector, what are you doing? It's raining.
Can I come in?
Whitney nods, steps aside. Hector enters the kitchen.
Oh.
Whitney goes to a drawer and pulls out a tea towel, hands it to Hector. Hector makes no attempt to dry off. They look at each other a beat.
Are you okay? Is everything okay? Or rather, is nothing okay?
I'm not sure.
Well, if you're here to see Sage, I think she's busy. And I'm not an expert on what she's doing, but I'm guessing it's going to take a while.
Hector steps towards Whitney.
I know that I should be here to see Sage. It's what's logical and what makes the most sense, but I don't think I am.
Oh.
And there's only two of you who live here, unless there's a third sister, which I don't think there is. But she just might not be as memorable as you.
There isn't.
Right. So that means I'm here to see you.
Mathematically, that sounds right.
Hector closes the distance between him and Whitney. Hector leans down and kisses Whitney softly on the lips. Whitney kisses Hector hesitantly back, her first kiss. Music comes back in full force. Hector's hand trails up Whitney's arm to her neck. Whitney starts kissing back more forcefully. The kiss deepens. Whitney's room continues. It's still pouring rain. Sunshine sparking is heard from outside the door. Hector and Whitney are lying on Whitney's bed making out. Hector's hand is on Whitney's pajama top-covered breast. His hand trails down her pajama bottoms. Lightning strikes, the sound of thunder. Whitney lays in bed alone under her covers. One hand tracing her lips, the other hand under the covers touching herself. Interior, Sage's living room day. Whitney stands in the living room in her pajamas, looking down at the spot where Sage and the man were last night. Sage's footsteps are heard. Whitney looks away from the spot and walks to Sage's kitchen. Continuous. Sage and Whitney enter the kitchen at the same time. They catch eyes. Whitney immediately looks away, blushing. Awkward beat. Sage goes and puts bread in the toaster.
Do you want any, Whitney?
Avocado toast?
Sage nods.
Sure.
Sage takes 2 avocados from the counter and cuts slices down. Whitney opens the fridge and takes out the orange juice.
What are your plans today?
Whitney takes 2 glasses from the drying rack.
I have a swim class today.
Sage purses her lips.
What?
Beat.
Sage, say it so we can argue and then move past it.
There's nothing to say. I'm glad that you really like those swim classes.
I do.
So there's no chance you'll ditch one and want to go to the beach instead?
I've been to the beach.
The toaster dings. Interior Community Center Pool Hall day. The pool is divided into 4 lanes. Hector stands at one end of the pool. Whitney and 3 other kids are in the pool on the other side. Hector blows a whistle around his neck. Whitney and the other 3 kids get under the water and doggy paddle to Hector's side of the pool. Whitney taps the wall, raises above water. She is the first one over. Hector smiles down at Whitney, leans his head down. Whitney grasps Hector's offered hand and pulls her up.
Good job, Whitney.
Thanks. Learn from the best, I guess.
Another kid reaches the end. Hector helps him up. Whitney gives Hector a wistful look and walks off to the side. Exterior Community Center later. Hector and Whitney stand just off the entrance, both of their hair still wet.
Do you have any plans for the weekend?
Not really. Do you?
I was thinking of visiting some family. It's been a while since I was back home.
In Miami?
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds like fun. Well, assuming that you love your family, of course.
I do, for the most part. That's why I love you, Whitney. You make me think.
Glad to be of service. Are you driving down there?
Yeah, that's usually how I get there.
Are you going to, do activities?
Why shouldn't I?
That's good. Activities are good. Personally, can't get enough of them. I've actually been trying to do more.
Yeah?
Uh-huh. This morning, Sage was asking about my plans for the day, and I told her I had your class, but she wanted me to go to the beach. And it's like, is that all there is to do here?
Actually, yeah, pretty much. Beach, parties, and there's not a third thing.
Unless you count work.
But who counts work?
I guess you're right. I mean, if I could, I wouldn't mind having a job, but I'm tired of the beach. I wish I could go to a party.
Parties are dope.
I wouldn't know. I don't know many people that throw them.
And you're better off. For instance, there's this guy, James with a Z.
James with a Z?
Yeah, it's spelled weird. It's like Jaemz. But he throws a party every 2 weeks, and every time I come back from one, I have to make sure I still have my wallet. I don't have a bill from the emergency room, and that I'm not married.
That sounds great.
Well, yeah, it actually does. I wasn't trying to sell it to you, but James with a Z does throw a sick party.
Again, I wouldn't know. Unless you tell me about the next one.
Really? You don't want to go to something like that? Forget I said anything.
How can I forget now? I'll be dreaming about my missed ER visits.
Don't twist my arm.
Hector, I grew up in the social media age. I will stalk every Instagram post. I will find your account. I will find James with a Z's account. And I will find this party. Please don't make me go through all this work, though, when you could, like, I don't know, add me on Insta or just tag me on the next invite.
You really want to hang around a bunch of drunk adults?
Huh. I didn't realize you were my dad. I guess I'm behind on a bunch of Father's Day cards.
Hector takes out his phone.
All right. If Sage lets you go, then who am I to stop you?
Hector gives Whitney his phone. His Instagram opens. Whitney looks at the phone, a smile growing. Interior, Sage's bedroom later. Whitney walks to Sage's closet. Whitney pulls out a short dress. Whitney takes off her robe and stands in front of Sage's mirror in her basic bra and panties. Whitney slips on Sage's dress. It's baggy on her. Whitney grabs the excess fabric in the back to make it bodycon. Whitney turns to the side, deciding. Whitney goes back to Sage's closet, takes down a pair of heels from the door hanger shoe caddy. Whitney slips those on and goes before the mirror. Whitney looks like a child playing dress up. Montage. Whitney stands before the mirror in a crop top miniskirt. A young Whitney 6 stands before the mirror in the same outfit. Whitney now wears a crop top with high-low long skirt. Young Whitney matches the outfit. Whitney wears a mesh top with star pasties underneath and super short shorts. Young Whitney matches. Young Whitney scratches at one of the pasties. Whitney wears a band t-shirt and with shorts. End montage. Whitney models the outfit in front of the mirror. She looks like herself. No baby Whitney. Whitney goes back to the closet and takes out knee-length boots and puts them on. Exterior, Sage's house, moments later. It's dark out. Whitney walks out of the house, locks up. Whitney takes her bike off the porch and to the sidewalk, mounts it. Off she goes. Exterior, James's house, moments later. Whitney gets off her bike. Dance pop music is blasting from the brightly lit home. Whitney walks to the front door. She looks anxious, like she might throw up. Whitney takes a deep breath.
What would Sage do?
Whitney takes the door handle and opens the door. Interior, James's house, continuous. The party is raging. Whitney looks around, unsure. There's a group of people on the couch in front of a TV playing video games, beer cans around them. A girl is pouring shots from a group of people on a dining table. Couples dance in available floor space. Whitney steps further into the room, bumps into a dude, mid-20s, and nearly falls over. Dude catches her.
I'm so sorry. I should have been looking where I was going. I was just...
It's all good. Dude,
It's all good. Do you know anyone here?
What do you mean?
Well, you're like a whole ass kid. Chris Hansen is about to come walking through the front door, is he? I really can't be on to Catch a Predator again.
What?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, pedophile jokes are super funny. Good one. Really, you should be a comedian.
Okay, well, I'm going to get a beer. Do you want anything?
Really?
Dude shrugs.
Yeah, okay, I'd love a beer too.
Cool.
Dude walks off to the kitchen. Whitney looks pretty jazzed with herself. Whitney walks further into the room, stands in front of a bookshelf filled with movies. Whitney's finger runs along the spines, The Shining, The Matrix, Star Wars, etc.
You made it then.
Whitney turns around to see Hector standing behind her.
It seems like the place to be.
It's pretty tame now. By 12, it'll be a party.
Looking forward to it.
Dude comes up holding 2 beers. He hands one to Whitney.
Hey, man.
Dude goes in to give Hector that dude bro hug. Hector puts his hands up.
Dude, don't tell me you just gave her a beer.
What do you mean?
Hector takes the beer from Whitney's hand before she can sip it. He hands it back to Dude.
She's 14. Come on, you made this mistake already?
Dude raises one of his beers to Hector.
Fuck, good looking out, man.
Dude turns away from them without a second glance. Whitney turns to Hector in disbelief.
Please don't tell me he was on an episode of Catch a Predator.
Him? No, he's just an idiot, but if you're going to drink underage, at least don't take drinks from strangers. Do you even know his name?
No, but now I'm hoping it's not something like Skinhead Bob.
No, that's just Arya Nation Allen.
I'm going to throw up.
Come on, I'm just messing with you. Pay back for all the times you've gotten me. If you really want a drink, then I'll make you something.
Hector turns and nods for Whitney to follow him to kitchen continuous. Hector goes to the island where there is a plethora of liquor bottles and mixers.
What do you like?
I don't know.
First time?
Whitney nods.
Okay, let me make you my go-to.
Hector takes a bottle of rum and pours into a glass, then adds a bit of Coke.
That's a rum and Coke.
Hector hands the glass to Whitney. Whitney sips, blanches.
That's disgusting.
Whitney hands Hector the glass back. Hector finishes the drink.
Nope, that was good. It's probably too strong for you.
Hector takes a bottle of vodka and pours into the glass and adds cranberry juice. He hands the glass back to Whitney. Whitney sips.
This might be the one.
Hector raises his hand. Whitney high-fives it. Living room later. Whitney lays on a sofa. Boys sit on the floor playing video games. Whitney turns her head to Hector. Hector looks over at Whitney. They lock eyes and smile. Whitney takes her cup and sips. The liquid falls onto Whitney. They both laugh. Exterior Sage's house later. Hector helps Whitney out of his car. Hector helps her up the path, and Whitney stumbles along drunk. At the front door, Sage and Giving Head Guy are standing in front of the door.
Oh, hi.
What guy?
You're the guy that gave her head that one time in our living room. You have to remember because you were there. I don't know. I couldn't see a lot of your face, with all the...
Whitney mimics giving vaginal head with her mouth. She laughs. She leans further in Hector's embrace.
You got her drunk? Really? Is that what you do now? Did Luke retire from misdemeanor, so you decided to temp in?
Hey, that's not how that happened. And I'm bringing her back safely. You can inspect her and not find a scratch.
Where are you guys even coming from?
James with a Z.
You went to a James with a Z party? You took a 14-year-old to a James with a Z party? Wow, you're just begging for a felony.
I didn't take her. I met her there. No, wait, I found her there.
That doesn't really sound any better.
You're right, it doesn't. Hector, get out of my face.
Can do.
Hector turns around to go.
Wait.
Hector spins back around.
My bike. I took my bike and I left it.
I can bring it back if Sage hasn't banned me from this house.
Nope, you're totally banned, but you can leave her bike on the porch. Come on, get inside, Whit.
Sage opens the door and pushes Whitney inside. Interior Sage's living room morning. Sage sits on the couch eating cereal and watching TV. Whitney storms the living room past the front of the TV in an oversized t-shirt, carrying a towel, ignoring Sage. Sunshine runs behind Whitney.
Hey, Whit, I'm off to work today, so if you want to drive to Orlando.
The sound of the front door slamming shut is heard. Sunshine's barking increases. Sunshine runs into the living room and tries to climb up Sage's leg. Sage picks up Sunshine and sits her on the couch. Sage pets Sunshine. Sage purses her lips and frowns. Exterior beach later. Whitney walks along the beach to a more secluded area. Whitney sets down her towel and takes off the t-shirt, revealing the white bikini. Whitney runs her hands along her frame and takes a deep breath. Beach moments later. Whitney walks along the shore, looking around. Whitney spots Hector sitting on the tall lifeguard chair. Hector turns his head to Whitney. They look at each other. Whitney raises one hand in a wave and gives Hector a small smile. Hector looks back to the water. Whitney awkwardly lowers her hand. Crushed. Flash. Another angle. Hector's chair. Whitney sits to the top of the armrest of Hector's chair. She gazes at Hector lovingly. Whitney strokes Hector's bare arm. Hector turns to Whitney, but looks right through her. Whitney turns to look at what Hector is looking at and sees Whitney in her white bikini, looking rail thin, no curves at all, completely prepubescent, giving Hector an awkward wave. Whitney on the chair turns to Hector and sees him to make a distaste, gives him a look of distaste and turning back to the water. Whitney on the chair looks at Hector. Her bottom lip trembles, crushed. Exterior, beach, evening. Whitney sits at a crowded area of the beach along the shore, watching the sunset. Wearing shorts and a t-shirt, her feet buried in the sand, arms wrapped around her legs, chin resting on her arms. Kids are running in and out of the water. Adults are packing up their beachwear. Joggers run along the shore, maybe walking their dogs. No one pays a second glance at Whitney. Interior, Whitney's bedroom, early morning. The sun is barely peeking through the window. Whitney lies in bed on her phone. Insert Whitney's phone. Whitney is scrolling through Hector's Instagram page, scrolling through photos of Hector with friends, family, him at the beach, him doing adventure things like jet skiing. Every photo that Whitney scrolls past is already liked. Another angle, Whitney's room, knock at the door.
Whitney, get up. Time for school.
Whitney continues being on her phone. Interior classroom day. The classroom is filled with 13, 14-year-olds sitting in desks staring at the front of the room, at Mrs. Donner's 30, writing on the whiteboard, Mrs. Donner, and underneath ninth grade biology. Whitney sits along the side of the room, third seat from the front.
Good afternoon, class, and welcome to high school. I'm Mrs. Donner, and we're going to skip all that icebreaker nonsense in this class today.
A few of the kids smile and nod at that. Some groan.
We're going to do something different. We're going to start the year off with a project. I've broken you guys up into groups, and your group is going to create the syllabus. When I call your name, raise your hand and find each other. We'll take a few moments for your groups to meet up and plan your next meeting.
Mrs. Donner takes a few moments listing off students' names until
Guillermo Ramirez, Brianna Dean, Whitney Roy, and Christina Ellie. You four are a group.
Whitney makes her way to the back corner of the room where Mimo, 14, is already sitting. Breezy, 13, and Chris Ellie, 14, make their way over as well. They all look at each other for an awkward beat.
So I'm Breezy.
Yeah, and I'm Memo.
Chris Ellie raises her hand in a small wave.
Chris Ellie, sorry.
They all look at Whitney.
I'm just Whitney.
Awkward beat.
So when can you guys meet to work on this project?
I can do today.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, today works.
Whitney nods.
Where do you guys want to meet up?
We can't do my house because my little sister likes to watch TV, and if we disturb her during Elmo, she'll go nuts.
They laugh.
Yeah, my mom is working tonight, so I can't really have people over.
They turn to Whitney. Oh.
I know. And my parents never let me have people over, even if they're home.
They turn to Whitney.
What about you?
I'm sure you guys can come over. I'll just text my sister after class to see if it's okay.
Interior, Sage's living room, afternoon. Sage walks in and sees Whitney, Mimo, Breezy, and Griselli sitting around. Their textbooks and notebooks are around them. Sage stops in her tracks and surveys the room.
Oh, hello.
Guys, this is my older sister, Sage.
Mimo, Breezy, and Griselli wave at Sage.
We're working on a school project.
Oh, well, that's fun.
It's for biology.
Biology is dope. Hey, Whit, did you happen to break your phone?
No.
So you lost it then?
Whitney takes out her phone and raises it.
It's right here.
Mimo, Breezy, and Griselli look at each other, uncomfortable.
Wait, why don't you come into the kitchen? I want you to be super duper sure it's working since I never got a heads up text from you, and you know how expensive these phones are.
Sage takes Whitney's arm and pulls her to Sage's kitchen, continuous. Whitney takes Sage's arm off of her.
What the hell was that?
Do you hate me?
I have never said that.
You don't have to say it. In fact, you haven't said anything to me these past few weeks. These past few weeks, you've treated me like I was some fucking nanny that you're too good
Look
for.
at Sage, annoyed look.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't care that you have people over. In fact, I'm glad you found some normal kids to hang out with. Do you think you could have told me first though? Every time you do something, I'm always the last one to hear about it, and I'm tired of that. Do you not realize that I am in charge of you? I have to protect you, and I thought this would be easy because you're like some little adult. You were never clingy, but now you are, and I don't know what to do. I figured you'd go to school, do your homework, maybe have a weird obsession with a boy band. I can handle taking you to a teeny bopper concert, but going with you to a college party was not what I was expecting.
You have no idea what you're talking about, as usual. You're not my mom, and I'm not dead, so you're doing just fine. It's clear to me that we don't have to be friends. You wouldn't know what it's like to be me and all the things that go through my head. But fine, I'll play your games. It's not enough that I constantly feel humiliated. You just have to see it too.
Whitney storms out of the kitchen into Sage's living room continuous. They all look at Whitney.
Wait, sorry. My computer messed up.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Are you okay?
Yeah, let's just get back to it.
Whitney sits back down at her spot.
Sure. Does anything stand out to you guys?
Well, my dad's a doctor, so I can ask him about what would be a good topic.
Oh, what kind of doctor?
Okay, so my parents are divorced. So my dad is a plastic surgeon in Miami.
Whitney's head snaps up.
Your dad's an actual plastic surgeon?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's so cool. I'm like obsessed with that show, New Me. I've seen like every episode this summer. Is it really how it looks on TV?
Probably. I mean, I guess. I haven't seen the show.
So plastic surgery has a lot to do with biology, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Have you ever seen your dad do any surgeries?
I've seen him do Botox on my mom before.
Oh, wow. I want to have that done so bad. Now, okay, I'm not saying that you have, but has he ever given you like a new nose or bigger lips? Because your lips are like perfect. Or what about your ears?
Don't you think that's a little rude?
I didn't mean it in a catty way. I've just been super into plastic surgery. Like, I've been reading books and articles and...
You really just asked if he's had plastic surgery? I mean, who asked that?
Whitney turns to Mimo. Mimo looks down at his textbook.
Memo, I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking...
Whitney turns to Chriselli. Chriselli is looking at her notebook, concentrating.
You know, I didn't mean anything by it. I swear I'm not like that.
But don't you think you kind of are rude? I mean, the way you talk to your aunt.
My sister.
Earlier was pretty rude. It was so uncomfortable hearing you guys argue in the kitchen.
We're just going through some stuff.
I've seen all the teen shows. I don't want to live in an episode of Gossip Girl. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to hang out with someone who has an attitude.
You're not giving me a fair shot, though. I don't have an attitude.
I'm sensing an attitude now.
Whitney opens and closes her mouth, unsure what she can say at this point. Breezy looks at Memo and Chriselli.
I think it's getting late. If either of you guys want to ride home, my mom can drive you. This was not a lot of fun, but thank your aunt for having us over, I guess.
Breezy lets out a little laugh and shakes her head. Breezy walks towards the door. Chriselli and Memo get up quickly, avoiding eye contact with Whitney. Whitney watches them walk away. The sound of the front door closing is heard. Whitney looks down in disbelief. Sage appears at the door, framed behind Whitney, looking at Whitney from the side. Sage takes in Whitney's hurt and confused face. Interior school day. Whitney sits down at an empty lunch table near the entrance. Whitney pulls a bento box from her backpack and sets it on the table, about to open it when she sees Memo, Breezy, and Chriselli walk into the lunchroom together. Memo and Breezy don't look at Whitney. Chriselli and Whitney make eye contact. Chriselli gives Whitney a weak smile and looks away. Whitney watches the trio in disbelief as they sit at an empty table together, talking and laughing. Interior, Whitney's bedroom, afternoon. Whitney sits on her floor on her phone. Insert Whitney's phone. Whitney's watching Hector's Instagram stories of Hector taking a selfie in a surfboarding sweatsuit, a picture of his sneakers that Hector bought, guy stuff. When the story ends, Whitney closes the news story and rewatches Hector's story. Whitney's phone starts ringing. Griselli's contact comes up. Another angle. Whitney's room. Whitney stares at Griselli's name for a beat before answering. Split screen of Whitney and Griselli in her own bedroom.
Hello?
Hey, Whitney, it's Chriselli.
I know. I haven't deleted your contact from my phone.
Oh, well, that's good. So I'm just calling to let you know that Breezy obviously doesn't really want anything to do with you anymore, and she kind of talked Memo into feeling the same way.
Oh.
Yeah, he should really think for himself, but whatever. But whatever, right? Anyways, I talked them out of leaving you out of the project, but I wouldn't feel right if I let you get credit for not doing any work. So if you want to text me your work, and I can tell Breezy and Memo.
If you think that's the best.
It probably is. I'm sorry that all happened, but that's high school, right? Like, what can you do?
I don't have a clue.
Right? So yeah, just send me your part of the work, and I'll make sure it gets put in, okay?
Yeah. Thanks, Chriselli.
Exterior, beach boardwalk day. Whitney walks Sunshine along the boardwalk, passing by different brightly colored shacks and storefronts. Whitney is passing by a dart game, both when she spots the back of Hector wrapped in Vanessa's 28 extremely pretty body, helping her throw darts. The dart they throw pierces the balloon. Vanessa cheers and Hector kisses her cheek. Sunshine barks at the noise. Vanessa turns around, eyes start straight to Sunshine.
Oh my god, what a cute dog.
Vanessa beelines to Sunshine, bends down. She looks up at Whitney for a split second to ask,
Can I pet her?
Hector turns around. Whitney gives a tense nod.
Vanessa, what about your prize?
I want my prize to be this sweet little baby.
Vanessa pets Sunshine's head, scratching her behind her ear, rubbing her back. Hector walks over carrying a giant purple frog.
Hey, Whitney.
Whitney blinks at Hector before going back to staring at Vanessa.
Heck, isn't this the cutest dog you've ever seen? I want a dog just like her. Did you get her locally?
Local to Texas.
Oh.
Whitney's not from here.
You know her?
She's Sage's little sister.
Vanessa looks up at Whitney with interest.
You're related to Sage Roy?
Yeah, her parents are my parents. Ended up being the same set of parents or something.
Vanessa laughs.
You sound like her.
Thanks, I guess. I'm guessing you and Hector aren't siblings too?
Where was it?
Sorry.
Roll up a little bit.
Hold on.
It's down.
No, we're dating.
Hector and Vanessa look at each other and smile coyly.
Oh, that's too bad. I mean, having a sibling is great. I'm just sorry that you guys are missing out.
I think it works out for the best that we're not related.
I mean, it's Florida. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine to fuck your sister here. I think back in Texas, there are a couple of counties where it's not super frowned upon.
Oh, you're really trying to sell the whole incest thing.
Whitney blinks, laughs nervously.
You're right. Sorry. Sometimes I just say things and then I don't stop. Might have some serious issues that I should speak to a therapist about. And wow, there I go again.
Vanessa gives Whitney a concerned look.
You don't live here, do you? It's only that I haven't seen you around and this is such a small town.
Why would you? You're like 12.
I'm actually not. I'm 14 and I'm in high school.
Vanessa still lives in Miami. She's up here visiting.
Do you like it?
I like some things.
Hector and Vanessa look at each other and smile. Flash. Vanessa strokes one of Sunshine's hind legs and Sunshine raises her legs and pees. Vanessa jumps back in alarm, falling on her butt. Whitney laughs. Another angle, continuous. The couple looks at Whitney, still laughing. Whitney looks down at Vanessa, still patting Sunshine's head, then to Hector.
I'm glad you guys like each other.
Interior, Sage's living room later. Front door slams. Sunshine runs into the room with her leash still on and runs out. Whitney tries to hide tears entering the living room. Whitney sees the living room. The living room is empty and sniffles. Tears start pouring out. Whitney goes to the couch and pulls out her phone. Whitney types in a number.
Dad.
The phone rings for a while.
Whitney, do you know what time it is here?
I know, it's late for you. I'm sorry. It's just that I hate it here. I hate everything that's happening here. Dad, I want to go home. And I want you and Mom to be home. And I want everything to go back to how it was before I came to this god-awful place. I feel like I don't belong and everyone knows it. I'm so lonely.
We can't just go home, Whitney. Me and your mother have jobs. We have commitments.
Am I not a commitment anymore?
Whitney lets out a sob.
You said you could handle us being away and that you would be fine.
I didn't think you'd actually leave.
What?
I didn't think you'd actually leave me.
Whitney works herself up into a bigger crying fit. Sage's bedroom later. Whitney lays in Sage's bed in the dark. Sage comes in and turns on the light. Sage startles at the sight of Whitney in her room. Whitney's eyes are bloodshot and her hair is a mess.
Fucking hell, you scared me.
Dad called. If I asked you something, would you be honest?
Isn't the first decree of sister law that we always be honest?
Whitney looks at Sage.
What do you think of me, really? Would you like me if I wasn't your little sister?
My feelings towards you change every day.
This isn't funny.
Whitney throws her face into the pillow. Sage frowns.
What's up with the dramatics?
Whitney screams into the pillow. Sage walks to the bed and sits beside Whitney.
Come on, you're gonna want to breathe air sometime.
Whitney stays put. Sage rubs a hand on Whitney's back.
What's wrong?
Whitney speaks into the pillow, voice all muffled.
I didn't get any of that, sis.
Whitney sits up. She brings the pillow to her chest.
I hate the way I look. I hate that I'm not interesting. I hate that I'm weird. The list of my insecurities go on and on. It doesn't even feel like we're sisters.
Whitney squeezes the pillow tighter.
I feel like no one knows that I exist. Like Mom and Dad forgot about me, and no one at school thinks I'm interesting. And how could they when I'm not? And the worst part is that I can't even come to you because you can never know how I feel because you're perfect. Everyone loves you.
That's so not true. There's plenty of people who don't like me.
I got the impression that Hector and his girlfriend like you.
Hector and his girlfriend? How do you know Vanessa?
I met her today. I was walking Sunshine on the beach and she just had to pet her and she had all these things to say. I hate her.
Whitney squeezes the pillow.
It's just so typical of him to like someone like her. Like, we get it. She's pretty, but she didn't even seem that interesting.
Who cares about either of them, Whit? I thought you were past him.
How can I ever be past him? He's the only guy that's ever been nice to me.
You have nothing in common with him.
It's not fair that we look nothing alike and that we don't act alike.
Are you not hearing me? Why on earth would you want us to be alike?
Because everyone likes you, Sage.
She brings her head to her hands.
I called Dad today because I wanted him to take me home.
Why would you want to go home?
I just don't fit in. I wanted to ask Dad for something, but I know he won't get it. I want to get plastic surgery.
Sage is stunned.
It's the only way that I can ever feel good about myself.
What makes you think that?
Because then someone will like me. Someone will look at me and go, wow, she's worth knowing. Right now, no one ever thinks of me. Hector
is going to move away, so I don't know why you keep bringing him up.
What?
He's going to move in with Vanessa in Miami. They've been on and off since forever. Everyone thinks he's going to propose tonight.
Sage continues talking, but everything is silent. The sound of Whitney's breathing is heard, getting more and more labored. Whitney's having a mini panic attack. The sound kicks back in.
Can't that be enough?
I am asking you with every ounce of sincerity in me. Everything I have, you can have it. Sage, please help me get plastic surgery. Please, I'm begging you. I need to do it. I can't just let him go. I have to do something. I can't let him leave me. Please, I need to do something.
No, Whitney.
Silence. Whitney gets up, looks around the room. The room is empty and dark. Each of Whitney's breaths are visible as if it were 10 degrees. Whitney runs out of the room. Sage's bedroom, continuous. Whitney slams the door behind her and locks it. Whitney's back slides down the door until she's sitting on the floor. Whitney lets tears fall freely on her face. She brings her head onto her hands, hyperventilating. After a beat, Whitney looks up and goes to stand before the sink. Flash. Whitney looks up. She is in a medical operating room. The plastic surgeon from the TV stand stands before her.
Miss Roy,
Yes.
if you could please stand up, we can begin your procedure.
Whitney gets up from the floor. The surgeon walks to the table, and Whitney trails behind him, looking along at the operating table.
What are you going to do?
Almost everything you wanted. We're just going to focus on that facial reconstruction you wanted. It's best that we leave your breast augmentation for another time.
Sounds reasonable. Do I just get on?
Please, whenever you're ready.
Whitney lies on the operating table, another angle, bird's eye view. Whitney bites her lip as the surgeon leans over her with a surgical knife. Black. Sage's bathroom later. Whitney looks down at the sink. An open nail kit, makeup palettes, and the sewing kit is scattered around the counter. Drops of blood and bloody tissues are on the counter. Whitney looks up. Whitney's lips are sewed back to make them look fuller. Whitney's nose is contoured to look thinner. Whitney's eyelids are sewed down a bit to make her eyes look half-lidded and sultry. Whitney has on eyeliner to hide the obvious marks. Whitney applies false lashes. They're crooked. Sage's hallway, continuous. Whitney opens the door tentatively.
Sage?
The hallway is empty. Whitney walks to the end. Whitney walks to the end of the hallway, atop of the stairs.
Sage?
Sage comes out of her room, looks in Whitney's direction, screams. Whitney flinches at the sound. Sage runs towards Whitney, grabs Whitney's face in between her hands. Whitney winches in pain.
How did you do this? This can't be real.
Sage wipes a spot of blood by Whitney's nose. Whitney pulls her hand away.
Stop it.
Sage puts her hand in front of her mouth in horror. Whitney takes in Sage's expression.
You hate it.
Please tell me this is like some kind of makeup. So help me God, Whitney. Don't tell me you've actually cut up your fucking face.
Beat. Whitney looks back defiantly.
You should have listened to me. It had to be done. I can't just let Hector go.
Whitney turns around to go down the stairs. Sage grabs Whitney's arm.
Where are you going? You have to go to the hospital.
Whitney struggles to break free.
Let go of me.
Sage holds on tighter.
You're hurting me.
That's funny.
Whitney pushes Sage. Sage steps back, then grabs Whitney's shoulders. Whitney tries to wiggle out of her grasp.
I have to go.
Where could you possibly want to go looking like this?
Whitney stops struggling.
Where do you think?
Sage takes a beat. Whitney gives Sage a hard push and runs away. Sage falls to the ground. Exterior, Sage's house continues. Whitney slams the front door behind her. Whitney breaks into a run on the street. All sound disappears. As Whitney runs, we only hear her breathing and the sound of her heartbeat. Sound of her heart. Her breath comes out frosty again. Exterior, Hector's house later. Whitney runs up the hallway to Hector's door. Loud music is heard through the door. Whitney hunches over, out of breath. Whitney stands up straight. She takes a hair tie out of her pocket. She begins to tie her hair up. She thinks better of it and lets her hair down. Whitney timidly knocks on the door. It is not heard over the music. Whitney sighs. She knocks a little harder. Sounds of party goers having fun is heard. Whitney fingers hover over the doorbell. She thinks better of it. Whitney walks along the side of the house. Whitney crouches beneath a window, looking up another angle through the window. Around 20 20-year-olds are hanging around the living room in various states of partying. Hector and Vanessa are dancing close. Off to the side, Vanessa yells something to Hector we cannot hear. Vanessa and Hector kiss. Vanessa steps away and walks out of view. Another angle outside. The front door opens. Whitney looks over. Vanessa exits the house. Whitney runs around the corner of the house. Whitney peeks around. Vanessa is sitting on the porch steps, lighting a cigarette. Whitney's phone chimes. Whitney looks down. A text from Sage. Insert Whitney's phone. Text reads, "If you went to Hector's party, then I'm coming to get you." Another text. Text reads, "If you didn't go to Hector's, then come home or tell me where you are and I'll get you." Another text. Text reads, "Please, Whit, just tell me that you're okay." Another and go outside.
Hey, who's out there?
Whitney looks up. Vanessa's looking right at Whitney. The light of Whitney's phone lights up Whitney's face monstrously.
Holy shit. No, oh my god. Whitney? What the hell happened to you?
Whitney puts her phone down.
Oh, hey, Vanessa. What's up?
What happened to you? Is that a mask?
Oh, no. Just trying something different.
Vanessa cringes.
I think special effects makeup works when it's Halloween, but not...
It's not makeup.
Huh?
It's not makeup. This is my face. I wanted a different look. I thought I could do it myself. I don't think it looks too bad.
Vanessa is visibly horrified. Whitney's phone chimes.
I don't believe this. I have to...
Vanessa checks her pockets.
Shit, where's my phone? I've got to take a picture of you. This is insane.
What? No.
Vanessa starts to get up. Whitney puts her hand on Vanessa's arm.
Hey, don't touch me.
Please don't tell anyone. I don't know what I was thinking. If Hector sees me, I'll die.
This was for Hector? Sweetie, if you think this is going to turn him on, you're crazy.
Whitney starts crying and pushes Vanessa.
What is wrong with you?
Don't tell him. Please, just don't say anything to Hector.
Get away from me.
Vanessa throws her cigarette at Whitney. Whitney charges at Vanessa, knocking her down. Whitney is lying on top of Vanessa.
Ow.
You're a total wacko.
Sage.
Whitney?
Sage runs up the hallway to Vanessa and Whitney. Sage pulls Whitney off Vanessa.
Whitney, what are you doing?
Vanessa gets up.
Finally.
She was going to...
To what?
I don't know, but I couldn't let her. I don't know why you guys are acting like this.
I mean, look at yourself.
You don't have to do all that. She's a kid.
I'm not a kid.
The front door opens, bathing the porch in light. Vanessa, Sage, Whitney look at the door. Hector is at the doorway.
Vanessa, what's taking...
Hector's face is in a state of shock upon seeing Whitney.
Whitney? What happened to your...
He gestures to his own face. Whitney's mouth opens and closes, unable to speak. Whitney rushes to Sage's side, hiding her face. A party goer comes up behind Hector.
Hey man, did the party move to the door?
Whitney only peeked for a second, enough for...
Oh fuck, what's wrong with your face?
Sage sticks her hand up.
Leave her alone.
Party goer doesn't seem to hear her.
Guys, you gotta see this.
Sage starts to protest. A few more party goers come over. Sage tries to hide Whitney behind her.
Why are you hiding? Isn't this what you wanted?
Whitney sobs. She comes out from behind Sage. Seeing Whitney's face clearly, everyone gasps. Some scream. Flash. Whitney and Hector look at each other. It's just them.
What do you think?
Hector looks pained.
I love you.
Hector's house continuous. All the people come back.
I'm sorry.
Whitney turns to Sage.
I want to go home.
Sage and Whitney leave. Vanessa and partygoers heckle Whitney as they walk away. Interior airplane night. Whitney is sitting at the window seat in an oversized hoodie, and Sage's sunglasses. Scars are barely visible beneath. Whitney looks over. Peter sits next to Whitney, asleep. Whitney gets up. Whitney walks up the aisle towards the bathroom. Airplane bathroom continuous. Whitney closes the door behind her. Whitney takes off the sunglasses and pulls down her hood. Whitney looks in the mirror for a beat. Her face is horribly scarred. Whitney's eyes are bloodshot. Whitney turns on the faucet. She splashes water on her face. Blackout. The end. Wow.
That's it.
What a reading.
Thank you.
What a reading.